Elite Sports is our partner for all things Squaring Around merch side. If you want something that's got our faces, our smiling faces, or just our logo on it, hey, hit up elitesports.com/square. Use code SQUARE at checkout, help out the show. They also got a huge range of athletes to pick from. Elite Sports/star. Check them all out. Ashton Hawkins is on there. Malik Hornsby's on there. Support the team any way you can, right? That's what we talk about on here. So, yeah.
It's up, baby. Exactly. Got to support the athletes, got to support Elite Sports, and it helps support us. Thank you.
Tired of winning the tailgate, but losing the games? We can't help that. But we can tell you what the hell is up with each team and what's going on across sunny San Marcos. Texas State fans, get on your feet. You're listening to Squaring Around with Jakob Rodriguez and Andrew Zimmel.
Welcome to Squaring Around. I'm Andrew Zimmel. That is J-Rod, the Rodbino, Jake the editor. It's Jakob Rodriguez, one of the, if not the most important part of this podcast, because Jakob is royalty, and we're talking homecoming royalty as it's homecoming week, Texas State and the Troy Trojans.
Yeah, I don't look like my second place at a beauty pageant Monopoly award that I've won several times in real life and in the online video game. But homecoming week is this week. We've had a week to build up to this. Is that good or bad? I don't know.
It is. I'd say it's good. I talked to our inside source, all things Texas State, Chris Kuntz, and I was asking, where are we when it comes to attendance? And I want to start there with you, Jakob, because Texas State has done a great job in the past couple of weeks just filling that stadium up. It's the most exciting, most electric it has been consistently, maybe ever, I would say. I think maybe older Bobcat fans might argue their playoff runs in the FCS level. But I don't remember a time in our lives where it's been this electric. And they're talking about maybe a sellout for homecoming. Maybe we sit around the same number we've been at, 25, 27,000. I think this is going to be an electric environment on Saturday.
This is all the alumni's fault, whether or not we break the attendance record, right? I mean, that's what homecoming is for, in my mind, is like, everybody gets a chance to come back, be a super senior for one day. I'm assuming the sidelines are going to be as packed as effing ever with recruits, media members, and everybody else, because everybody's anticipating that this game can be the game that Texas State punches their ticket, so to speak, to a bowl game.
Which is insane to think about. Now, I do want to be pessimistic, Andy. I'll be the bad guy here. Texas State has won 6 games in the past and not been bowl eligible, right? Mm-hmm. There's been times where the 6 wins wasn't enough to get us to that point. I don't think that that's this year. I think that we're in a much better spot than we've been in years prior. But if you're one of those Texas State fans that thinks we hit the 6 and then we just sit back and relax, first off, that's not G.J. Kenny. That's not T.J. Finley. That's none of those guys with 2 letters in the first name. That's none of those dudes. This is a team that I think is going to continue to compete. Troy, Saturday, huge game. Maybe the biggest game on the calendar, do you think, at this point?
The Cure Bowl champions who won the league last year, the UTSA Roadrunner Killers, Troy. No, I think they're going to try and stomp the shit out of us. It's our homecoming. Have we ever won against them? Was it a ULL situation?
I think it's a different one. I can't remember a time we beat them. And I know that the Trojan fans are sitting at home being like, we've never lost to the Cats before. But this is a different Bobcat team. Look, we've talked about it as we are very much a 6-6 podcast. We've been on that ride for a while now. You think back to the ULL game where I think a lot of things went wrong for the Bobcats, and you'd like this game to be a game that you just show up for homecoming and it doesn't have all this added pressure. Do you think there's some added pressure to the Bobcats on Saturday?
Oh, there's so much. I mean, first of all, the Bobcats have the biggest target painted on their backs in the entire Sun Belt, probably. Everybody wants to be a team that can stop them. There's been so much hype. Who even covers the Sun Belt, right?
But
I also think, as far as all the Western teams, I mean, have a lot to prove, right? Like Texas State, this is our first time being good, in the modern era, basically.
Which this is our prove it game. I think that the South Alabamas of the world, the Southern Misses of the world, they're both disappointing this year. Troy is really the only team that came in with any sort of expectations who have lived up to them. ULL in the same breath. I don't know how many Cajun fans were thinking they were going to win the West, but I knew they thought they were going to go to a bowl game. Those really the only two in the West that are at this level of Texas State. So this is a prove it game for Texas State. If they are legitimately one of the best teams in the conference or the best team in the West, the way to prove it is to beat Troy on Saturday.
1,000%. Yeah. You know what? I guess was a prove it game too? The ULL game and also the UTSA game. And yeah, both of the games.
What about the Baylor game? Does the Baylor game not count? Do we throw that one out?
Nah, that's a debut, right? That was GJ's D1 debut. If he totally laid an egg, like we were both prepared to basically chalked it all up as L's all the way across the board. As long as we got to this point, which we're still like way ahead of schedule to get this 6th win, If we got it at the end, probably wouldn't be in bowl contention, I'd say. But right now, if we get in the middle, I mean, every other win that we stack on top of that's just like, please help us get to Hawaii.
What the other thing is too about with Texas State is that I think they would be the 3rd Sunbelt team, maybe the 2nd Sunbelt team to punch their ticket to a bowl game. You think about JMU, who's undefeated at this point, but they can't go to a bowl game. They can't. They can't play this year, and I think that the NCAA has already said that they're not going to let them. So,
yep.
I
don't know how people forget that also. Like, it's like, this is a thing that's been happening all year. Where are you guys? Are you just now tuning in?
Are people forgetting or are they upset every week? I think it's like I think it's a new wave of people being upset that it's like, hey, that 6-0 Dukes team, they can't play in a bowl game. On the field, week off for Texas State.
Mm-hmm.
The last time we saw them was a contentious game against ULM. It's a game that could have gone a bunch of different ways. If that Bobcat team plays on Saturday, I don't think they beat Troy. I think that they have to be better in all facets of the game if they want to beat the Trojans.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to play the cleanest football they've ever played, which they really have not. So, like, the bar is still up all the way. But, it hasn't been fun sometimes. Oh, yeah, we've never won, basically. The longest losing streak is 8 games. This is as many times as we've played them. So we have never beaten the Troy Trojans.
That is something. But there's a lot of teams in this conference that we've never beaten. There's a lot of things that Texas State's never done, never played in a bowl game, never won a bowl game. I was talking to a buddy of mine who's a fighting Texas A&M Aggie, and I was saying that this is the first time Texas State's 5-2 at this point in the season, I think since like 2006. And he was like, that's an insane stat. And it made him feel a little bit better about his A&M program, I think. But I'm right now, if you ask me programs in the state of Texas who feel the best right now, Texas State might be 1 or 2.
For sure.
Between Quinn getting hurt, and again, this is Dave Campbell's affiliate podcast, so we got to like sprinkle some of that stuff in there. Quinn gets hurt in Texas. Jimbo's ruining A&M. Texas Tech's quarterback's down. I feel pretty much like Texas State is the most confident of the teams in the state of Texas.
This is pretty much what we've been telling people all year. This is the freaking team for the Texas State. Literally. I think this is the team for the common man. I think this is the team that's been the most fun to watch because, A&M can't win anything. UT can't win the most important games when it matters, and they're ranked number 2 in the nation. Everyone says they're back, including you. I mean, I don't know. I think it's like the blue collar boys versus everybody, basically.
TCU, a private school, choking. Baylor, a private school,
national title front runners, or also rans, or whatever you want to call them.
Runner-ups, yeah. It's just I think Sam Houston State, they're having a first tough year. UTSA looks worse than they were a year ago. So yeah,
and that guy wanted to get paid like 1.6 mil over here. So if you think about it, I mean, we're riding this thing like a robbery with GJ.
Honestly, the best coach for bargain bucks. And I mean, Jakob, the bag watcher, has made sure to let us know that GJ is underpaid when it comes to comparably like what other people have been doing.
1,000%.
So Jacob's all in on getting him paid. Jakob Rodriguez, Esquire, trying to get somebody their contracts.
Hey, I'm just saying, GJ, give me a finder's fee.
Now, all right, I want to talk about X Factor because Troy technically to this point is better than they were a year ago. A team that won the Cure Bowl, won the conference. At this point in the season last year, they were averaging, and I have the numbers right here for you. Last year, they were averaging about 24 points per game and giving up about 19. This year, they're averaging 26 points per game and giving up about 17. So they're better to this point than they were a year ago. I think that the X factor has to be your guy, Ashton Hawkins. I think that if he has a big game, then Texas State is going to have a big win. But if Hawkins doesn't show up like he hasn't in the past couple weeks, this could be make or break for the Hawkins bandwagon here.
This really, I think, is the biggest game of Ashton Hawkins' life, because not only if he doesn't win this week, will it like pretty much not matter in like the grand scheme of things, unless he shows up in a bowl game and totally wins out. But like, this is literally the halfway point of the season, right? Or I guess we're past the halfway point if you want to think about it like that, because we're at game 7. So this is
half and change.
Yeah, this will be what we're 5-7 or 5-2 right now. So this will be week 8 technically for us. I get, even though if you count the bye week, which Mike Craven for some reason calls the idle week. Are you behind that? It sounds stupid to me because nobody talks like that. But hey, I'm not the one that disagree with Mike Craven.
Hey, shout out Mike, but that's a dumb thing to say.
Shout out Mike.
I like the bye week, idle week. It whatever. Yeah. It doesn't matter. Jakob
Ashton
Rodriguez,
Hawkins, though. I don't know. I'm scared because I think Ashton can do it. But the whole season for him personally as a player does revolve around this game.
So I would say this, that if you came into the season as a new Bobcat fan and you heard Jakob talk about Hawkins and then you saw the performance on the field, would you agree it's a disappointment?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, 1,000%.
And I look at it this way, that if he has a decent showing against a Troy defense that's really damn good, they got a good run defense. If Texas State wants to win this game, I think they're going to have to throw the ball around the field a little bit. If he shows up and has, let's say, 4 catches for 88 yards and a TD, that's all we want. We just want that. You know what I mean? Just give me an explosive play every once in a while. The Troy Trojans in my life, Scott Watkins, of course, the number one guy. We had him on the podcast to talk about Southern Miss. He is a Troy alum. We've gone back and forth talking about what Troy's X factor is. He said it is the quarterback play. If the quarterback shows up as a game manager, Troy's not winning this game. The quarterback play for the Trojans has to be better than average if they want to beat the Bobcats, which, look, the defense that we've played this season, Jakob, I think that we do better against pocket passers than we do against mobile quarterbacks. Troy's quarterback, from all the reports I've seen and watching him play a little bit, does not seem like he's the type of guy that's going to be breaking out of the pocket a ton.
As the second thing I looked up today, I wanted to see if the team had locked Ashton Hawkins in a room for a week with a jugs machine to kind of figure it out. That is not confirmed nor denied. But yeah, this guy had negative 44 yards against JMU, which makes you feel good. Our defense is obviously not JMU caliber, but we got that dog in them. The thing that kind of scared me, I guess, about the ULM win, by the way, ULM before that, we were 5 wins to their 6 losses they gave to us. So we're almost tying that number up.
So we're 5-6 against them all time.
Mm-hmm. I think when GJ comes to town next year, sorry, Terry Bowden, you might be on the chopping block next year, but hey.
Okay.
The way heads
trying to fight for that. Fight for the 6-6 against the Warhawks.
Yeah, they also had negative 20 against Western Kentucky. So
not a great Western
Arkansas
Kentucky team.
State held this guy to 16 yards on the day. So that's
it's
the first stat you have to look at with Texas State, because we have been pieced up by Joe Schmo. I'm pretty sure the guy at Army, Dan Bailey, would dice us up if we did too, because that's all he does. He does not throw the ball.
It's fair to say, though, in that Arkansas State game, 37-3 win for the Trojans. So I like what you're saying. He's not a mobile quarterback. He's not a guy that's going to get out of the pocket. Yeah. However,
like, that game was not won on his feet. I'm just saying.
No, that's fair. And that's completely fair. The competition that Troy's played this year, I think, is a little bit worse than the competition they played last year to this point. So when you look at those stats, when I give you they're beating teams by 9 points per game, you feel okay, because it's not the same team as last year. I think they're slightly worse than they were last year, all things considered. I think that's all you need. I think as a Texas State alum and as a fan, that's really all you need to win this game, is just have them be a little bit worse than they were a year prior.
I guess slightly concerning though. Gunnar Watson probably is one of the better quarterbacks in the entire Sun Belt, even though he has one more interception than TJ and 200 yet less yards.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
So, but would you put him in the same conversation as Finley or Granger at a Georgia State? Like, you wouldn't put him in that conversation, would you?
No, but I guess because TJ's in a separate league, right? Like when a guy comes from the SEC, he's immediately circled as this guy is probably one of the better quarterbacks in the Sun Belt, And now TJ has proved it. Like I am probably one of the better quarterbacks in the Sun Belt. He also has the opportunity. I guess just realized right now that he could break 2,000 yards in a single game season if he's consistently thrown over 200.
He's on pace for I think 22 and 30-ish touchdowns, 25-ish touchdowns.
Well, I mean, is that 13 right now, or what is it? Let me see. I have it right.
I think it's 13 and 3,
14,
right?
Yes, 14.
But how many interceptions? 14 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he's on pace for about 25-ish touchdowns. You throw 2,200 yards and 25 touchdowns.
Kind of generous now. Like as we keep deeper into the season, like. If he had gone off in ULM, I would say he'd probably get 25, bang you over. But now, 14, he has to get 11 more.
Yeah, you don't think he can get 11 more touchdowns?
I don't know. I mean, Lindsey Scott Jr. got 71.
Right. Let me ask you. All right, so I say that I think he hits 25. You say you think you're going to go under. I set the number at 23 and a half.
I think maybe he'll hit 25. I don't know if he'll get 26.
Okay, so you would go 23 and a half. You take the over.
Yeah, for sure. 23 and a half.
Okay, for what about yards? Because how many yards does he have right now?
Over 2,000. He has 1,900 right now, though.
All right. So I set the number at 2,300. I set the number at 2,300 over the next, 4 games? Do you think he gets to 2,300?
Yeah. Because
over?
Yes.
Okay.
And because, I don't know. I feel like he's been kind of, in garbage time, he's been his best, right? When Texas State is trying to catch up. I said when we walked onto the field last week, we didn't have a prayer. No Texas team had done that in front of my eyes, like come back in the fourth quarter in the final 2 minutes, let alone with 1:45 and 0 timeouts to go, driving down the field in front of a packed home crowd. Let me tell you, that is like student section cancer, pretty much. If you can't close out games like that, because everybody's just like, I could be at the bar right now. I've been at the tailgate all day, and we get a night game, so that's good too.
And that's the last part here. Texas State at night. I think that needs to be the identity of this team. The black jerseys, the light show, everything about this Bobcat team feels like they need to be a night team. It's a night homecoming. Jakob, you were in homecoming court. Talk me through what a night game is for like the guys who aren't playing the game, but just the alums who are hanging out.
I guess this game is usually scheduled for like a 2:00 kick or something all the time. And I've always said that Texas State should do this game a lot earlier, like last week or like whatever.
Homecoming.
Yeah, but maybe they just want it because it's cooler. We got a for sure good opponent. I don't know. There's a lot of things on the table, which is why I think a lot of people will show up. That's why we wanted Leslie on last week to talk about the loud crowd and all the things they're doing, and also be like, hey, you're gonna break that record? You heard it here first on Squarin Pod.
I think that they're going to break the record. I think that Texas State breaks Troy as well. It's going to be a tough game. Troy opened up as a 4.5-point favorite on the road, which, look, 4.5 points, that means that Vegas feels like they could win by a touchdown. 4.5 tells you that they think that they should be a touchdown favorite on the road, but it's a home game. Home team usually gets 3 points. So you're looking at it like, I think smart money, if you are a Texas State bettor or you're a Texas State fan who's making little wagers on the side, I'd look at it and say, I feel pretty good about this team. I think the Texas State gets this win.
That's funny. I was just looking at the ESPN Plus power index, but I could also see Chris's hard work getting the ESPN picture changed of Bobcat Stadium. And that is a picture from this season where Texas State packed the crowd. I don't know if it's the last game or the game that we had 27 against 27, 24, whatever.
It had to be 27. State. It had to be 27 because we talked to him a couple weeks ago and it was changed. Yeah. So I'm all for it, man. So you're going to be at the game, right?
I will. Yes. I have not missed a home game, and I will not miss a home game this season. So
locked in. You're the better part of the pod, bud.
Mm-hmm. It's fun. I mean, it's not fun when I have to go up every weekend for not this podcast like I've been doing in the past weeks. But I've been doing a lot of work. I got to talk to my friends at the University Star. They're very bullish on the Bobcats as well. I think for a lot of people, like if you're going all in on athletics like this, if you fail to win a bowl game or go to a bowl game, this is a failure. Like don't be confused. If you're spending so much money and then continuing to fail at the thing that you were trying to do before, that is a failure, not only on the athletics department, but on the university itself.
Scared money don't make money. That's my rebuttal.
Because now we've pushed all this money, got horses, got Ferraris into Bobcat Stadium, presumably we're going to have to spend money on this coach now. Yeah.
And NIL. That's the other part
NIL
that people aren't talking nearly enough about, because I think that there's going to be a couple people sniffing around TJ Finley and Malik Hornsby too, to a lesser extent maybe. But I think people are going to be looking around being like, hey, what can we do to bring these guys over here? It's going to take a lot to keep guys from going in the transfer portal. That's not a bad problem to have, all things being equal. I'd rather have a problem of like, hey, we have so much talent that guys are wanting to leave to go other places. That's not a bad problem to have if you're Texas State, but you want to keep the team together. This is way in the future. You know my feeling that we got to enjoy it as it comes, but I'm liking it. I'm liking where we're at.
It's fun. It's been a fun time. They signed a big NIL thing with First Lockhart Bank too. That's like their first major, or I guess first banking, because that obviously they're the banking partner. But they said it was their first banking NIL deal, and I don't know what the terms of that means. Like I don't know how much each of these guys are getting paid. But yeah, no, it should be cool. And they've yet to announce their stadium partner. I'm assuming that's going to happen at the end of the year or as soon as they find out and just like let the check clear, basically.
Yeah.
I really would like this to be Buc-ee's Stadium. I think that's my preferred stadium partner at this point.
I think that that's a completely fair thing. I don't mind Buc-ee's. I wouldn't mind Buc-ee's at all.
And this is when you also use UTSA as a cautionary tale, because their number one receiver last year, Xavier Worthy, what's that guy up to now in the SEC? You know, like you can either have all the glory for Rome, so to speak, or, you know, go see what untapped possibilities you have maybe.
You know, and I don't know how many young guys like to hear that, where you're, as a coach, you're telling them, hey, by the way, don't go. Look how bad this guy sucks. Yeah. I don't know how many people buy
look at that guy versus what we could do right now. You know, that's what I would do for GJ. Look at what we have built together, and you're going to try and do that with somebody else? Good luck, brother.
So Texas State wins against Troy. Is that your take?
Yeah, and I have to take them too, because ESPN has them on their pick'em schedule, and I've rode with the Bobcats all year, because what the hell am I going to do? Bet against my team, my university? That's like betting against myself. You know?
Can't bet against your team, man. Cannot bet against your team.
And let me tell you, nobody should listen to me when it comes to Sunbelt picks, because I think I'm like 1-3 or I've been dog shit on the year. And it's mostly because of the Georgia State frauds and Marshall not being able to figure it out under center in crucial moments.
Look, we love you.
Also kind of partially due to Texas State losing against Louisiana.
You're good. You're good in my eyes. You're really bad at the Sunbelt picks.
Oh yeah.
You know, we love you, but yeah, it's not
at
great.
The beginning of this year, though. You know who told us Texas State was going to win with zero proof in the pudding, with zero, I guess, reason to believe in this team? Brady McBride.
Yeah. I've
just been looking at my notebook. On the front cover, scrawled in Week 8, us winning in the win column for the first time, pretty much too, in Bobcat Stadium or otherwise, against the Troy Trojans. And what's scary, I guess, too, is Troy's also coming off of a bye week, so they're healthy, we're healthy. We're both going to just fight each other to the death.
It's going to be one of the best defenses in the conference.
Whoever wins too gets a bowl slot. They're also 5-2 on the year.
Yeah,
mighty Troy Trojans.
Yeah, we're both playing for a bowl game, and it's like the Texas State offense versus the Troy defense. And because I would give Texas State the defensive edge versus their offense. It's going to be, can they hold up front? Can they create running lanes? And we'll see what happens.
Squarin Around is also proud to be brought to you by Home Field Athletics. Home Field is your one-stop shop for everything college football. They got teams from all over the damn country. Not Texas State, though. So if you're a Minnesota Gopher fan, go on Home Field. Use code SQUARE at checkout for 15% off. And if you're a returning user, maybe you're just a Home Field addict, you can't get enough, 10% off your order from here on out. Use code SQUARE.
My brother, his birthday is coming up, 21st birthday. He's a proud Fight Nagy. Use code SQUARE. Save a little bit of money.
This week, we are talking about homecoming pride and traditions with our friend, mentor, spirit animal of the podcast, Bryan London. Bryan, how are you, buddy?
What's up, guys?
The third member of the Squaring Boys, Bryan London.
Honestly, we should make this permanent, man. I'm here.
Ooh, all
I love
right.
it. That'd be great. Don't give us something that you're not going to follow up on, man. Don't treat us like that because we will take you seriously. Homecoming, Troy, give us a story from your time playing the Trojans.
Oh man, Troy has just been nothing heartbreak after heartbreak. I think I remember playing them maybe my first year playing, my redshirt year. I can't remember the exact score, but I'm pretty sure they hung 60 on us.
Oof.
That was-
I actually had
yeah,
that score up earlier. Let me go double
yeah,
check.
that one was bad. That may have been the worst college game I was a part of.
Oof.
That's saying something. That is saying a lot because there are some games, Brian, that are like, ooh, okay. Damn. All right.
But I mean, on the other side of that though, 2018, 2019, we held them to like we lost, but we held them to like 150 yards or something, and we 4 turnovers or something crazy, and we still lost. It was wild.
But
2019
sometimes those
2019 we lost 63 to 27.
Yeah, that year that was bad.
Tough.
the some of the good things though from a stat padding defensive player is that on those high scoring games you're on the field more. Like if you're somebody that's trying to break some records, that's a way to do it.
But you feel it the next day. It's not. But I don't think we were on the field that long. It wasn't even like they were killing us in time of possession. Like it was just gashing us up and down the field. It was
Could
bad.
you imagine winning the time of possession but losing 63-7?
I don't have to imagine. I may have done it a few times. I don't have to.
Ryan, I want to thank you for coming on the pod, man. Because as a Texas State football alum, you meant so much to the program and stuff. And this week feels different than other weeks. It feels like the Texas State football program is kind of trending in the right direction. Have you been keeping up with it at all?
Yeah, definitely, man. I've been tuned in to every game. I'll be at homecoming or yeah. I should be. So we'll see. But yeah, man, it's exciting. I like the direction we're headed in. The guys look good. They're flying around. There's more depth this year than years like previous. So it's just good to see fans are showing up, supporting. So it's been good signs all the way around.
As a defensive player, what has impressed you most about Ben Bell?
Dude, he's relentless. Like he's just relentless. I mean, just similar to his brother. I watched him play too. They're just relentless. Like it's just nonstop. Like
Those guys are different.
Yeah, exactly. You could turn on like one of the late plays, and if I showed you him, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. Dude, his effort is crazy.
He is. It's hard to say because the defense that Texas State's running a little bit different than the defense that they ran when you were there.
Yeah.
Do you see that it would work better with you, or do you think that the defense that we ran when you were there would have worked with your talents?
Oof. I would say I think it will work better. I just like how everyone rotates. Like for the most part, I don't think the corners, the defensive backs get as much breathers, but the front guys, the linebackers and D line, like they're getting breathers where needed. And I would have enjoyed that a little bit.
Yeah, but then like I said,
on.
I mean, yeah, but it's like I would have been able to make a little bit more splash plays, I feel like. So
there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. No,
this has also been another player that's just impressed, and I think that pretty much fits like the type of role you were in, just kind of like that guy that has to bottleneck any runner up the middle. Like, that's what he's doing right now.
Yeah, no, he's excelling in it too.
It's insane. What as a defensive guy, you gotta feel the offense is pretty good though, right? Like, you got to be thinking to yourself, like, oh shit, like that offense is probably the best offense we put on the field maybe ever.
Yeah, honestly. Probably ever, yeah. I mean, I would think, that 2015 team, I think defense was still the focal point, but offense they were a little better. But nah, TJ is balling. So, yeah, he's got complete control. Yeah, those dudes.
It's insane because when he came in at the very end of July, and I didn't think he was going to be the starter. I thought, we're getting another backup. Him playing as well as he's played on a limited time and to build the chemistry that he has with his receivers and running backs and the entire team, he just is so calm, cool, and collected too. That's the other part that really gets me.
I mean, I would say, he's played in the SEC, 2 powerhouse schools. So, I'm sure there's no one we've played that he's fearful of. Like he's seen like the craziest of craziest freaks, you know. So you can just tell like he'll stand in there, take some hits, you know. So he's dialed in.
And that's crazy. Well, you know, we're saying crazy a shit ton, but it is. It's just, it's hard to fathom. Like, first off, getting a guy like that at Texas State, because I imagine, you know, you love your teammates and stuff. There wasn't dogs like TJ coming through San Marcos a ton. And he's that. And I talked to fans of LSU before the season and writers, and they said, like, you know, accuracy is a problem with them. You might not have the leadership, and those are, you know, fans. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. But the way that he's played this year kind of puts all that to rest. 14 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, man. Like, you can't beat that.
No, you can't beat that. He's balling. And I think they got to see like early side of him. And like you said, fans don't always get to see, you know, if it's not showing up directly on the field. And like their bar is so high, like, you know, Joe Burrow, like stuff like that. It was like, well, a lot of people are gonna pale in comparison, you know. So
So did they get you sideline passes for homecoming?
I gotta reach out. I haven't even reached out yet. So
it's Wednesday, bro.
Dang.
You gotta get on that.
You're royalty around there, Brian.
I mean,
I know. That's one of my worst trades. I procrastinate. I need to get that. You're right.
There's gonna be a bunch of former players though. I know Brady's gonna be there. I know a bunch of people have hit us up to be there. A bunch of my douchebag friends are gonna be there. This is bringing out everybody. That's what homecoming's for.
Yeah. Hey, everybody's welcome. It's gonna be a good time.
A lot of alums on Twitter have been talking about how jealous they are about the situation that Texas State has built right now, or not even situation, just the culture of fans in the stadium. Do you sit back sometimes and think like, damn it, bro, I wish we had that. I wish we had like the rabid fan support that these guys are getting.
Oh, for sure, man. There was many games, like those early Saturday games. It was like, this is parents and friends, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I could hear my mom calling out my name, you know. So
I Jakob on the sideline for the media. Whoa, that's sick.
And now it's completely different. Like Jakob bitches every single week about how full the sidelines are. He's like, I can't go anywhere. I used to have free reign. Now it's like, you know, I'm bumping shoulders with everybody.
I got to pick my spot like now too. Like I'm like, do I really want to walk across the field and try to get this defensive stop, or should I just stay in the end zone now?
Good problems. Good problems. You know,
yeah, it's a good problem to have.
You know, when
I'm also not used to them starting as fast as they have too. I've missed like 2 of Marty's like
dude, that dude's
like in the first 2 minutes of the game.
If you're not sitting down when he gets the ball, you might miss it.
Sure. They got to open up the concession stands earlier. Open the stadium 15, 20 minutes earlier. Get the beer flow a little bit earlier so dudes are in their seat for kickoff. Because, you know, we've been talking about the kickoff guys, and I've been giving Jakob some shit because he's been leading this bandwagon for Ashton Hawkins. What can you tell me? What am I wrong here? I think that's been disappointing to this point.
I say I'll be a Jakob. Ashton, he's a baller. You know what I'm saying?
A couple drops, a fumble against ULL. Maybe I'm a hater.
It's just been in the bad moments that he's been less than average. You know,
yeah.
He still has so much potential to be so good.
Yeah. So I feel like in the big moments, you know, it just happens sometimes. But I like him. I'm confident. Man. Don't give him that.
And you would know better than me because I am, again, just an idiot fan. And you are a guy who I imagine that at some point you're going to get the text message from one of these coaches being like, yo, Brian, you know, thank you for doing all this for the program. We got to get you to talk to this linebacker. Hey, can you come by practice or something like that? Just to be like, yo, you know, hey, we got a guy. Here's the all-time leading tackler. And granted, you know, a couple of those games, 63-7. You know, I don't know how much he was.
We could slide that under. You don't know anything about that. No one needs
keep that on the DL. I like that.
Yeah, I mean that would be nice. I think the only problem is I'm probably slated like second. You know, David Mayo still. No, I can't.
Aaron Brewer.
Yeah, he's like what, year 8 or 7 or something like that. So he's first obvious choice.
Now he speaks at press conferences and stuff too. It's pretty sick.
No, he just balled this past week. Yeah, he's
You know what's funny is that a friend of mine who's a Washington Commanders fan sent me a video. It's like on TikTok, and it's David Mayo doing the ladder drills. And they said, "Who let the substitute teacher on the field?" And I was like, "Damn,
No,
bro."
you don't respect the GOAT like that. Come
I
on.
know. That's what I
Man.
said. I was like, "That's rough. That's
Hey,
a tough look."
tell your friend me and my problems. If I see him, is he gonna be there? Is he gonna be at the game?
I don't know. I don't know if he will be. I'll make sure to give him your number though. Be like, "Hey, fine." Bryan London said it's on site.
Yeah.
It's funny that you mentioned like taking into the home crowd, like because it's been kind of insane this weekend. And that UTSA game that I saw you at was also insane, just to see that much maroon in the Alamo Dome. But
Yeah,
I got
no, I
to
felt good. Well,
I got to talk to Savion Patton on the sidelines, and I was
yeah,
like, dude, imagine if we had this when you were here. And that's pretty much the same era you were there.
yeah, no, yeah,
Difference
man.
between a lot of games decided, I think.
Oh, for sure, definitely. I mean, there's a lot of heartbreakers that I think had it just been a little bit tougher environment, it would have been.
The throwback uniforms too have not been a success story for the program as far as wins and losses too, because they're always sick uniforms that we get out there. I'm
Well,
like,
hold on.
Shit.
I could be wrong. I think we won the first time we debuted them, though. Am I wrong?
I think he won because it was the same year that they ran the French fry and ketchup uniforms out there with the gold pants and maroon jerseys. It was like that. It was the week after or the week before that, because I was like, Texas State. There was a pot, and Bryan, you were in here. I think when the culture shifted when it comes to the uniforms, because for a while there, we're kind of rough.
Yeah. Hey, it was trial and error. You know,
they look sick now.
Yeah,
I mean, I think they got some of the best jerseys in the state of Texas now. But there's a couple jersey, helmet, pants combos.
You got to push the limits. You know, everything's not going to hit, and then you find your niche. I think that's what it took. There's some stuff we rolled out.
I need to, and you'll tell us if I'm wrong here. I think where I had somebody that was colorblind who didn't know what the colors were that they were putting on the field. Black jerseys, gold pants. What are we doing?
I know everyone who is in the decision-making process, so I'm just going to say no comment. I'll just play, no comment.
I'm a very big, no blackout game. I think across athletics, if you go back to any blackout game that we've ever done, baseball, basketball, volleyball too, we've not fared good in that category.
Yeah. But it worked last week.
I mean, barely. That was credit to Joey Hobart putting it on the line for the damn team.
No, he did. That was clutch.
That guy's been out of control. Ashton Hawkins, by the way, 395 yards on the year with 1 touchdown.
Yeah, we got to get in the paint.
We've just had a failure to punch it in, which is, I also wish the defense would add a little bit more to it, because Joey Hobart actually said last week, credit to our bend, don't break defense. And that's my least favorite, moniker for a defense. I'm like, I wish you'd just, take it away or put it away earlier.
To be fair, it's not the best moniker to have, but it's not terrible though. I mean, the Chiefs, they've won Super Bowls with nothing but bend.
Yeah, but we ain't the Chiefs. Let me ask you, speaking of decision making, what's a better hashtag? Party in the end zone or take back Texas?
People hate on party in the end zone, dude.
I would probably say party in the end zone. And I only say that because take back Texas is kind of like, are we going back to the national championships we won in the 60s? If that's what we're predating to, that's not bad. But take back Texas, I don't know if that's ours to.
Okay. All right. I like that. And, party in the end zone was your group. I get that. There might be a
that's no. There's no bias there.
Okay. There. I think that the party in the end zone, I think it would work if we were in the end zone more. You know what I mean?
Okay, but that's different. If this team had it, it would make sense. It would fit.
Yeah.
Also, just because you come up with a fire hashtag, that's not your fault. Shout out Everett Withers. You came up with great branding, and then we just couldn't do it.
Yeah, it's gonna put the product on the field.
It's kind of like Big Baller Brand, honestly. Great looking shoes, just couldn't get them in the stores. I get it.
But that is the first step, because if you come up with something kind of shitty, what's the point of getting in the end zone?
Well, and Bryan, we'll tell on ourselves here. When they put the Take Back Texas out, my first reaction was, that's lame as hell. What the fuck is that?
I've always said that's what it sounds like when an insurrectionist walks into the Capitol. Take back Texas. Hey. Get out of
Hey,
here, you crazy.
if you're winning, it works.
Mhm.
You know?
Winning cures all. Winning
Just
cures
win,
all.
baby. Shout out Al Davis, man. Just
So
win.
what is your prediction for this Saturday?
This Saturday, I think we're gonna put on the show. I think let's see. I'm gonna say 35-17. 35-17.
Okay.
35-17. Yep.
It'd be the first time I think we ever beat Troy too. So it'd be a very special moment. Also, the moment that Texas State could become bowl eligible. It's not often that the university president, Kelly Danfus, slides into my DMs. But last week I said we might have to do that press conference at the river because he might, have to jump in right on the spot. And he was like, yeah, we are in the works of doing something like that. So
Yeah, no, that dude's
stay tuned.
everywhere. First of all, he would actually do it. He's everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
crazy.
He'll be at the game and jump in the river at the same time somehow.
Would you jump in the river as a proud alum, as a football alum, but also alum of the Texas State Bobcats? Would you jump in the river with the rest of the Bobcat alums or the team? Former Bobcats who were on some of those really tough teams that didn't have this type of success. Would you jump in there too?
Yeah, I'll jump in there. It'd just be like just washing away the old. Yeah, I could do that. Like a little. Yeah, I could do that.
I like that. Washing away the old. That's good. That's
Yeah.
good.
That's fun. That's a nice little
Poetry.
tradition. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know how sweet it would be if this is a tradition that every year we're bowl eligible, and every year, 1 in the morning the team's coming home, 2 in the morning the team's coming home. A team wins at 11 o'clock or whatever, and it's just immediately, yo, we're going to the bars, we're doing all this, but first we're getting in that damn river. We're getting in that river. We're jumping in the river. That would be so cool. That would be so unique, and it would be like only something that Texas State could do if it was like
That's
an
true.
every year thing.
Every year we get bowl eligible.
Yeah. Every year we punch the bowl eligibility ticket, you jump in the river, because then it would mean like the entire season. Doesn't matter if it's a great season. You're talking 8-9 wins, conference championship, or you're talking about a season that you go 6-6 and you eke it out. Like, you have something to look forward to, and the team is looking forward to it, and it would keep fans in the stands. Because every game you'd want to go to, because hey, you don't know, maybe this is a game that they get their 5th win or their 7th win, right? Like,
all right,
Kelly, take notes.
Yeah, you guys gotta coin that. You gotta make that your thing.
Not only are you a supporter of the Square itself, also this podcast, Squaring Around, but I've squared with you before too. Something I would not even bat an eyelash on is somebody walking in from the river, having just dunked themselves, and then walking into Green Parrot, into the carpet.
That's
I didn't
total.
even think about it twice.
Yeah, that's square behavior at its finest. Yeah.
Mhm.
Why is that guy dripping wet? Oh, the Bobcats going bowling again. Oh, great.
Oh, right.
50-cent shots. Let's go.
Yeah, no, he deserves shots. I would show up to a score just like that, honestly.
My favorite time to go squaring is graduation, but I could imagine like after a win, post-win, that'd be kind of sick too.
You like graduation square?
Yeah, because it's just like guys showing up in their cap and gown. You're just like, yeah, congratulations, man, congratulations.
There is a lot of that. There's just so many people graduating.
Oh yeah, it's tons.
I was gonna say, can we rank them? Can we rank the best nights to go squaring?
Okay.
So where would you put this one? We'll blind rank them. Okay.
Well, it's
1 to
also
5.
Hollow Weekend this weekend, which is gonna also a top tier square.
Top tier.
Yeah, it's awesome. Don't miss it.
No, for sure.
Parents Weekend.
Parents Weekend's pretty good, but I feel like more old people and
that's
San Marcos County show up.
Is 5 like the worst?
5 is the worst. Yeah, 1 to 5.
Parents Weekend's 5.
Okay. So you would put graduation 1 to 5.
Without knowing what's next, I say 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
After a win, you've had a couple of those.
Yeah.
After a win.
I say 2.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Now I got to come up with 2 more because we have 1, 3, and 5. What would be? How about after finals?
New Year's.
Ooh, New Year's. I was gonna say after finals, but New Year's.
I've actually never been on New Year's.
Yeah, there's not a lot of people in town during that time. That's why it's kind of. But just to have that like moment, maybe it's 4, whatever number we haven't
Okay.
yet.
Yeah, we'll put that at 4.
Yeah.
All right, we'll put that at 4, and then I was gonna say after finals.
Oh, finals is pretty lit too.
Pretty lit. All right, there you go. So there's your 1 through 5.
There
Is
we
there
go.
any that we
How does
missed?
finals differ from graduation? Some people don't even know if they graduated yet. They start going squaring.
It's before the people who are there just like celebrating the grass get there. You know,
True. Yeah.
it's like just yeah.
You got the juniors who were like, "This could be it. This could be my last semester in college if these finals didn't go well."
Yeah, and it's like it's the people before everyone else goes home too. So you still have that, you know.
The last hurrah for a lot of people.
Yeah,
the freshmen with their fake IDs and the juniors who are getting a drink for the first time. It's a good mix.
Before they gotta go home with their parents for wherever the break is. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
They're also doing costumes in the stadium. I just forgot about that. That Halloween weekend vibe is definitely. And now I think we're definitely going to break the record in the.
For sure.
Yeah, what would you 33 something?
What you say?
It's like 33,000.
I think so. Something like that.
Something like that. It was set during Houston, 2016.
Oh,
so
shoot.
We saw against the Jacob's beloved Astros, guys dressed up like astronauts and then lost, and then they look really sad in the stadium. So what would be like the costume that you're wearing for a game like this, where it's Troy? Anything can happen. It's homecoming. Yeah. Anything can happen. But you want to wear a costume that if they catch it on camera, maybe
full send. You got to go full send.
Okay,
there's no full send.
So Brian, what are you going as?
I don't know that either. Let's see.
Darth Vader. That's always a popular one.
That is always a popular one. I'll probably go Darth Maul before I went Darth Vader.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, it's just something about the double-sided lightsaber. Yeah.
I like that. Would you put the fake horns on?
Oh, for sure. You got to.
Jacob, what would you go as?
At Texas State, I'll go as LBJ.
That's dangerous.
That's funny.
That is dangerous. Go to the store, get a bratwurst, put that on the front.
It's also, well, I guess it's not this week. You know what is a crazy square move? The trifecta. After you go tailgate, Worst Fest, and then to the game.
Worst Fest going on right now?
It's next week. Yeah, when we play Georgia Southern, that's week 1 of Worst Fest.
Oh shoot.
That's also a pretty good square vibe.
Could be double weekend for Brian, huh?
Yeah, that's what it sounds like, man. The 2 pitchers. That's my favorite move right there.
That is something. I think there's a couple guys that like Worst Fest more than they like the games in the stadium.
Oh,
but
sure.
Which is not exactly what you love to hear. But Brian, thank you for coming on with us, man. It's always fun to talk to you. And dude, fucking Bobcats, bro. We're here, dude. When we talked to you before the season, I don't think either of us thought it would be to this level.
Well, what I want to say I don't recall. I'm gonna go back and listen, but I want to say I think I said bowl eligible. I don't know.
I think you were cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, there we go.
We said 6-6, so it wouldn't shock me if you said 7-5.
That's fair. We'll see.
I think that's what Brady ended up going with too, and he also said we're gonna win against Troy, which is nuts to say preseason. I think, but
yeah, no, it's nuts.
Thanks, Brian.
Yep, no problem. Appreciate you guys.
Thanks, man.
We ain't got no badges. We don't need no badges. I don't have to show you any stinking badges.
Better not come any closer.
Thanks for listening. New episodes out every Thursday. Follow the boys on Twitter. Eat 'em up. Eat 'em up.